Hi all, let's have a look at another interesting game from the candidates. Sergey Karjakin playing against Shakhriyar Mamedyarov. So let's see, e4, e5, we have standard moves so far, but now the slightly novel g6 has been played before. c3, a6, white often retreats the bishop to a4 with a small edge, but here bishop takes c6, less usual, so slightly unusual territory here from the opening. d4, ed, c takes, bishop g4, putting pressure on d4, queen b3, perhaps a little bit more solid, could be knight bd2, just to make sure there's no double pawn possibility. So queen b3 is pretty sharp. Maybe it was some sort of preparation in this obscure, relatively obscure line. Bishop takes f3, g takes, so accepting the double pawns. Bishop g7, putting pressure on d4, bishop e3, knight e7, knight c3, bishop takes d4, daring to play this. If rook d1, then there's c5, that should be okay for black. So we have bishop takes d4, queen takes. Now queen takes b7, black just castles. Queen takes c7, and now a very interesting move, not wasting time to protect the knight, just rook b8 here. Yeah, just undermining this c3 knight, potentially. So it's a little bit dangerous to take here, but it should actually be an even position, actually, if white just lets that knight go. So it's interesting move rook b8. So white just actually castles here. Rook takes b2, and both sides just exchange off those knights, basically. So structurally, the double pawns seem, maybe intuitively you'd find them a bit more significant because it's king safety connected to that structural issue. But here it's, these pawns are isolated as well, but there isn't king safety associated. So black's got the safer king in the long run here. So king g2, rook c2, which creates authority on that c file point, so protecting c6 basically. Rook ad1, letting the a2 pawn go, and now rook c1, rook c2, white takes, rook a1. So one of these pawns is going to drop. Queen c4. Now queen b7. Actually, this might be a small inaccuracy. Rook a5. Make sure the pawns are not going anywhere. Maybe the safer option here, it controls all the squares like g5 in particular. In the game continuation here, queen b7, which neglects g5, and now Mamedyarov plays queen b5, which not only offers the exchange of queens, which obviously would be fantastic, two connected passed pawns there, totally winning, but also gets access to g5. So black's in the driving seat now in this continuation because he gets in this check, which is actually quite important. After queen f6, there's a passed pawn here basically, and it's like having almost like an extra pawn in this position. So let's see, rook b8, rook a5, rook b3, there's a target on f3 as well, queen c8 check, queen g4 to protect f3, rook b5, and if the rook moves now, there's the horrible rook g5. So we have really an outside passed pawn. This is starting to be a little bit better again for black now, with this outside passed pawn combined with king safety issues here, providing a source of nice checks available. h4 here, b4, so this passed pawn is pretty dangerous. e5, trying to create a hook on f6, and if it's taken, then that will be more equal, even. But there's a hook on f6 now. b3, king g2, queen c4, protecting f7, queen b6, trying to use that f6 square potentially. h6, so just giving the king h7 here potentially on queen f6. King g3, queen d5, f4, some shuffling around now. Here, hitting the pawn, protecting the pawn. So, some manoeuvring, but black stands with the trump cards here, the passed pawn and the ability to check the king. Queen e3 and harass these pawns. King G2, check, check, Queen E3. G5 now. This is a key move, trying to break up white's structure now. It seems a bit anti-intuitive to undouble the pawns, but it is useful to break up this structure after HG, HG, FG, undoubling the pawns, but the pawns are a bit weaker now, and it requires a little bit of precision on white's part here to play this position. We have Queen H2 check, Queen G1 check, Queen E3. Now here, it seems with very accurate play that the move F4 should be, it looks really dangerous because of the pawn, but this should be okay. For example, check, B2, there's a check here, and Queen B3 hitting F7. So even if we have this position where black queen's even, this is going to be a perpetual check here. That's just an example line. It seems F4, yeah, was actually playable here, but white actually, maybe under great pressure now in this part of the game, played King G3, letting that G5 pawn go, and so yeah, black officially now pawn up. So his undoubling really worked out, and now he's just bringing the king over to that pawn, actually, with everything protected. The king's making inroads over here to herd this pawn. Check, and now Queen H4 check, and the black, the queen's going to come off here. Yeah, for example, check. Or even maybe just get this position. Yeah, it's going to be like checkmate there. So either, yeah, whatever. It's totally winning by this point now. So let's go to the final position. So Queen H4 check. Bit of a grind to that game. 71 moves. So unusual opening from like that G6, so it paid off. White took a risk, maybe accepting the doubled pawns. Later, that was not just the king's safety issue, it was this outside pass pawn. So the two issues combined made it possible for black to win. So source of great pain for white, all these checks combined with that pass pawn. In the end, yeah, white had to play very accurately to make sure he wasn't getting a pawn down, and he seemed to, yeah, lose a pawn perhaps unnecessarily, and lost the chance to maintain equality. After losing that pawn, yeah, bringing the king over was the decisive plan, and just overloading white here. Okay, I hope you got something from that game. Comments, questions, likes, shares appreciated. Thanks so much.